Star Wars. Oh, Star Wars.
No! God, please, no! No!
Yep. Everyone is so mad right now. Everybody's so up in arms about the current state of Star Wars. This all started because of what the director of the next Star Wars movie about Rey Palpatine or Rey Skywalker, Rey, said about her upcoming Star Wars movie that she is going to direct. And this just sent the internet into a frenzy, and everybody is now saying Star Wars is dead. Disney has killed Star Wars, there's no hope. And it really just does seem like Disney is just really disconnected with what the fans really want. Some comments read, "As a human who breathes oxygen, I weep for Star Wars." And I think a lot of fans have weeped for Star Wars over the last few years. Of course, there's been some pretty good stuff that's come out, but there's been a lot of stuff that hasn't really been that good. Another comment reads, "I'd like to thank Disney for helping people save a lot of money and reducing internet piracy by making content so bad people don't even want to steal it." And what's interesting is that we've known that she was going to be the director of the new Star Wars movie for a while now, and things have been relatively quiet, but now she's caused the internet to go up in arms for a few different reasons.
And we're in 2024 now, and I think it's about time that we had a woman come forward to shape the story in a galaxy far, far away.
But what I'd like to talk about is the overall and what I believe is the main issue that Lucasfilm has right now, which isn't really Sharmeen's fault. Marvel and basically Disney overall has this issue. And that issue is that they keep hiring or casting, as some people say, the wrong people. Now, of course, there are a lot of people out there who are saying, of course, more agenda pushing by Disney. And yeah, this was an extremely calculated move. This was very intentional by Disney. And this is why people say that Disney in general doesn't hire directors, they cast them for their own agendas. Because now Sharmeen Obaid Chinoy isn't just the next director of a Star Wars movie, she is the first woman and first woman of color to direct a Star Wars film. And of course she said, it's 2024, it's about time that a woman came forward to shape the story in a galaxy far, far away. But women have been deeply involved with Star Wars for a really long time now. Is this really the problem? How is this the current problem? How long has Kathleen Kennedy, the president of Lucasfilm, been running things? How many females are a part of the executive team? How many females are in the story group? Bryce Dallas Howard and Deborah Chow directed episodes of The Mandalorian, and Deborah Chow directed the entirety of the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. How has a woman, or in this case, women, not have already shaped Star Wars? And I don't think the general populace hates female leads or female superheroes. I just think that they hate when they are made overpowered for no reason whatsoever, and they are overpowered from the very beginning of the story without having to really go through any struggle or story arc at all. The perfect example to use is Marvel with Captain Marvel. When she was introduced into the MCU, she was just already the most powerful character out there. She was introduced as being insanely overpowered, already at the level of Thor. And we've seen Thor go through a lot. Through all different movies, we have seen Thor struggle. In fact, in Thor Ragnarok, we saw him basically not be able to defeat Hela, a woman. In fact, at the end, he had to call upon Surtur, and he had to sacrifice his home planet to defeat her. But through all of that sacrifice, through all of that growing, and through all of that struggle, his triumph at the end, even though it was sad, it was much more fulfilling. And we really, really loved it. The struggle is what we love because that makes the triumph better. It makes it so much more satisfying. But when you're just overpowered right away, the struggle just really isn't significant, which means the triumph isn't really that significant either, which means the entirety of the movie or the story is really not that significant. Especially if you were saying that, oh, the only thing standing in my way the entire time was me. No one else can really defeat me. It was me in the way. Now that I'm out of the way, I can do anything I want and I'm so overpowered. No one really wants that. There's not a lot of story development there, character arc. That's just not there. I mean, even Luke Skywalker, who had an amazing story arc, was being defeated at the end by Palpatine. He was literally going to die. His father, Darth Vader, had to step in to save him. And that is how they were triumphant. And another amazing story there, from Anakin Skywalker to Jedi to Order 66 to killing younglings to Darth Vader, a Sith Lord, to killing the Sith Lord to save your son. That full circle story arc was just fantastic. That's just good writing, and we just didn't get that from the Rey trilogy. It just wasn't a good story. Why did people love Wonder Woman? It had a female lead, it had a female director, but people loved that first Wonder Woman movie. Why? Well, because it was a great movie, because overall just the story and the direction were great. People want a good story, and to prove that point, people crapped on Wonder Woman 2 because it sucked. The story was terrible. The execution was terrible. They love Wonder Woman 1, don't like Wonder Woman 2. What was the difference? It had the same director, had the same female lead. It was literally the story. People want good stories. It's the agenda pushing behind the stories that people don't want. But it just seems like a really weird statement to me for Sharmeen Obaid Chinoy to say that like she's the woman to come in and kind of save Star Wars. And I don't have anything against Sharmeen Obaid Chinoy except for the fact that she's not qualified to direct a Star Wars film. And this is the main issue. Disney keeps hiring, or casting as some people say, directors who just really aren't qualified to direct these huge movies. What qualifies Sharmeen Obaid Chinoy to direct a Star Wars film? Is she a massive Star Wars fan? Does she know all of the books? Has she watched all of the Disney Plus shows? Has she watched Clone Wars, Rebels? What qualifies her? And what has she really directed before that would qualify her to direct a movie in one of the biggest franchises ever? See, that's the problem. Star Wars is known by everyone around the world. It is literally one of the biggest franchises of all time. You're taking somebody who does not really have any experience directing a movie like this and saying, here you go. Go, make a great Star Wars movie. See the problem? Look, you're a woman of color. That's fantastic. You're an activist for an admirable cause. That's amazing. The problem is Star Wars fans don't care about that. What we want is a good story, and fans are already mad at the last Star Wars trilogy, and it looks like Disney just went, let's double down on that. Let's give them more of that. Now, here's the deal. I like Rey. I actually do. I think the story was really, really bad. The writing was not very good. And they basically took characters that shaped an entire franchise, that shaped a community, a culture, really the world. If you think about it, how many people to this day still dress up as Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, Leia for Halloween or at Comic-Con? It did so much. And the latest trilogy went and just killed all of those characters. You killed Han Solo. You killed Luke Skywalker and you killed Leia. And then you introduced characters that people just really didn't care about. And then you added a bad story on top of that, which made people really just not like the movies. This is why Rey kind of gets a bad rap. And it's not because she's a female. It's because the story was poorly written and it was just bad. So Kathleen Kennedy went, wow, those movies were super successful. You know what? Let's give the people more of that. Let's bring Rey back because everybody loved her so much. Again, I liked Rey, nothing against her. But then you go and you hire somebody who just is really not qualified to direct this film. It's like, what are you doing? Why are you setting Star Wars up to fail? This is the biggest problem right now. And again, it's kind of a Disney problem. Disney has been doing this for a bit. They recently did this for the Marvels. I'm sure everybody's been saying this, but they hired Nia DaCosta, someone who really wasn't qualified to direct this movie. I mean, we even have, it's on the record of her not knowing what was going on during the movie. And we know that she was texting and calling Destin Daniel Cretton, who directed Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, asking what the heck is going on. She didn't know the source material. She didn't have any idea what was going on, which is why that movie is not that good. This is the problem that we have going into Star Wars right now with Sharmeen Obaid Chinoy. It's not the fact that she was an activist for a very admirable cause. It's not the fact that she's had a very admirable career and has made some good documentaries. Really, what she's done in the past is very admirable. horrible. And indeed, people are taking things that she said 7-8 years ago out of context and applying it to the situation, which isn't right. I don't care that she's an activist. I don't care that she's a woman. I don't care that she's a woman of color. Those things are great. What bugs me is that she just doesn't have really any qualifications to direct a Star Wars film. And yeah, she directed a couple episodes of Ms. Marvel, but to go from directing a couple episodes of a Disney Plus show that not a lot of people watch to directing a Star Wars movie, I remember when I was a kid, just every time a Star Wars movie came out, it was just this huge event. It was an experience. It was such a cherished time for me that I still cherish to this day. A Star Wars movie. Disney just needs to focus on writing good stories. Writing good Star Wars stories, writing good Marvel stories, just stories in general. That's what they need to focus on. Just writing a good story, not pushing an agenda. In fact, I promise you, Lucasfilm, if you made the next Star Wars film amazing, if it was just a phenomenal film with Rey in it, I bet you people would like Rey all of a sudden and would really want the sequel to that film. If you made it an amazing story and it was executed properly, I bet that would happen. I don't think people have problems really with women leads, with a woman director. I think they have a problem with agenda pushing put before good storytelling. And that is the biggest problem that I think a lot of movies are actually going through right now. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure there are people out there who do care that she is a woman, and they do care that she is a person of color. And well, unfortunately, you're always going to have those people. But I think a good majority of people just really want good writing. And I think that if Sharmeen Obaid Chinoy made a really good Star Wars movie, that would be great, and it could turn some people's minds who are being a little stubborn. But I hope that is the case. I really hope this happens. I hope Star Wars, the next one with Rey, ends up okay, but they need to focus on the storytelling, the writing. It just needs to be good, and that just needs to be the priority for the studio. But go ahead and let me know, what do you think about this in the comments down below? Let me know your full thoughts. Really, what do you think of this? Do you have faith? Do you not? Are you done? Are you going to watch it? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel. Be doing a lot more. I'll see you all in the next video.